Oh, what is going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. We're just loading up here, so give us a second. Apologize for being a little bit late today. This winter is damaging my calm. Um, Dude, I'm serious. Like, so I was actually getting ready to leave for the day. As maybe about 15 minutes away. That sounds good. About 15 minutes away from being done. And we got a phone call, a little bit of an emergency situation for somebody, and I had to fire a truck up and go. And unfortunately, it took a little bit extra time. Then I also had to go to the store down in town. Why am I on a box? What the hell? To get somebody his food because with the weather, the delivery kind of got messed up. So I had to go get him some food, and he takes priority, right, buddy? Got him a new type of food. Same manufacturer, same stuff. It's just a little different. So he ate it right away. He was very excited, very happy. But here we are. I'm just going to warn you guys, we're showing on the forecast, which it's a couple days out, so things might change. But I'm going to be having a huge storm come in. And I don't know if we'll be on Saturday. I'm not sure if we'll be on Monday. I will do my best to keep everybody posted, but it's looking a little iffy. But we'll figure that out later, because right now we are here and ready to go. So we built our deep desert base. We did make one little change. We extended that portion of the roof there. As you can see, it's got a crazy ledge. And we're actually running 5 wind traps this time around. Because I'm really going to push resources this time. I had an interesting moment occur yesterday. I was out flying around, doing the testing stations and the caves and stuff, and was hovering over another guy's base, and I looked over and I was like, oh, wow, look, there's a medium spice. And I was just glancing around, and within sight of that one, there was a second one. I was like, wow, look at that, 2 spice fields in PvP, or PvE, so it was totally safe. And I was like, man, look at this. I was like, I should fly back and fire everything up and go get it. Now, the last couple weeks, I have really been pushing spice production. We filled up the carrier several times just to see if we could do it, you know. And the end result in that is got a lot of spice. I've got a medium container packed full, and I've actually got some stowed in other spots. And what do you need spice for? Well, anytime you want to make anything tier 6, you got to use some spice melange in order to make it. And anytime you try to repair anything that's like a T6 or a tier 6 gear, you're going to need just a little tiny bit of melange to make that repair. For these high-end machines, like the large ore refinery and the large spice refinery, you need melange quite a bit, actually. For the large wind traps, things like that, you get the idea. The issue is, though, like my home base is fine. I don't need to add any more. I can, but I don't need to. So the main usage for melange in production is not required anymore. And the amount of repairs I have to do is pretty minimal. So huge amounts of melange aren't really needed. I have farmed myself into excess. And now I actually did not harvest those 2 fields. It made me kind of feel a certain way about it. Yeah. There's always the market. You could always sell it. Hi, kitty. Busted that door wide open. I know it was a cat because the dog's already in here. Animal farm. I could sell it in the open market, but to be honest, we're not that heavy a populated server, so the market's kind of questionable. I could use it to bribe Landsrad people if I really wanted to, but I thought to this week I wanted to focus more on like getting Plastanium and hitting the caves and hitting the testing stations for the materials in there. And I kind of thought that that was just like a natural progression type thing. But I don't know, man. I'm playing myself into a corner here. The spice must flow. Yeah. I don't know what to do with it, though. I guess you could start dropping it in the ground, but hey. So we did go twice yesterday. Made a route, and we got some of this. It doesn't look like much, but this sure does. And this is actually overflow. That's not supposed to be going there. We'll put it in the buggy. That'll help transition it over. So let's take a look at where we are. And this is also the reason why we did a 5th wind trap up there on the ceiling, because going for Plastanium is expensive. Look at that, 333. Why did it? Oh, it overflowed from the volume. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Speaking of water, let's see how much we got. 682. I mean, we're over half, but that ain't much. Tell you what we'll do before we go too far. Let's just get some. Let's get some friends that we met out in the desert. Start turning them into some water, right? Your water is mine. There we go. So while we're doing other stuff, these two guys will be cooking. Gross. That's some extra water that'll drop in. But we should be able to make even more of that. Back at home base, we have several boxes for Plastanium, and very little in them. So I want to try to fill them up. That's my goal. Let's see, what's this going to do? 321 in one shot. That'll be cool. Who's that going to kill? That's going to kill the Stravidium fiber. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so into the buggy we go. Let's go get some resources. The way I break this up, I've been, building my base here for quite a long time. So I kind of have a decent idea of where things are. I break it into basically 2 sections. There's this side over here, which I have to come down the hill and then just make a right, and I can get up in there. And there's a whole bunch. And then I kind of go back along there by the crash ship, and we run along the edge, and then I come back because it's full. Then the other part, yeah, we got tap and leg. Oh, I'm sorry. The other side, we come up here, and then we just work our way through around there until it's full, and then we're coming back home. So we can actually make 2 full routes. And by the time we get that second one done, the first one is actually getting ready to start respawning. So that's why we need more water. The other thing I'm going to do is this. We see a group of 2 of these. We're going to stop and grab them. Need those for filters, for medical supplies. It's something I don't really like farming. Kind of an annoying farm to pick up plant fibers. It's much better in the deep desert than it is in Haga. So that would be my suggestion to you. We're not going to stop for like a little 2-banger like that one. This group we will. So we'll come right in here and jump out. Something else I've thought about doing, but I'm not sure. I was able to grab a ton of flour sand for silicone blocks. I don't really need them. I've got plenty in storage, but I have seen rumblings where people have said we're going to pick up some aluminum, not a whole lot, but we are going to grab some. but it's mainly Plastanium today. But I've seen people say that it is better to harvest flower sand out here in the deep desert than it is in Haga Basin. Because the worms don't aggro as quickly, and you're able to gather tons from a field before you have to go up in the air and come back down. We might give that a try. There used to be a flower sand patch that was completely safe inside an area where the worms couldn't get you. You could just go and harvest that field all day long without ever having to worry about anything dangerous. And apparently they weren't happy that that existed. They kind of wanted flower sand to be somewhat dangerous, so they got rid of it. I'm going to officially say this. We'll stop and get these guys here. There are no places in Haga to get flower sand that's like not totally but mostly safe. Unfortunately, the devs did such a great job in eliminating all the locations that would allow you to harvest flower sand without getting worm sign. So great job on their part for removing all the areas in Haga that you could get flower sand relatively safe. If there was a spot or two that you could go to and get flower sand without having much of an issue, I would totally make a video on it so that it would showcase to the Funcom devs that, you know, hey, there's still an area where this could be done with relative ease and safe, and they should get rid of it right away because it's not the way that the game was meant. And yep, you got to find a basic route where you can grab as much of that. From where my base is, which right there in the Odom, heading into Shoal, there's a couple spots that there'll be like 12 or 15, depending on how far you want to kind of scoot, to get the plant fibers. And usually by the time you make a decent loop, we could have got that, but no. By the time you make a decent loop, it's already starting to respawn, which is really nice. We'll go ahead and grab this. The reason we're also grabbing aluminum is I am very short on duraluminum. We make that in the monastery base, so what I'll end up doing is making a bunch of aluminum ingots, and then on one of the trips back into Haga, we'll just stop by there and jump in. 3. We'll jump in and we'll totally snag some aluminum to store down there. And I passed up a bunch. I should do this. But yeah, I'll drop a bunch of them off there so that we can make some more duraluminum. We're almost getting to the point where we're going to have to do a jasmium run again, which is a good sign, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to delete that comment, man. We can't let them know about certain spots there. I do wish that a sand crawler could pick up flower sand. That would kind of be nice. I know that technically a sand crawler is supposed to be a spice harvester, which is why it doesn't, but I always zip past this. I can't get through it fast enough before it switches me over to PvE. I wonder if someday I'm going to pay a price for my arrogance there. Now that I've said it, I probably am going to, so maybe I should be very careful. It does prevent me from getting out. Like, I could get out and get all of these, but we got to be careful. Just in case somebody was over there. And we're safe now. So let's run around. Another thing, you see me getting out and grabbing these. Since I'm out, I'll go ahead and pick up the little nubbins that come out of those blocks I just... Cool. Out of the blocks that I just picked up. Normally I wouldn't do that. I just keep driving on because the... picking them up in the... with the buggy laser is so much faster, and it's better to just move on to the next one. But I'm already standing outside, you know. I've had people ask me that question before with when you're harvesting, when you're gathering resources, if it's worth getting out. I could have grabbed them. Oh, if it's worth getting out to pick up the nubbins. And you get to a certain point where it isn't. If you're in desperate need of them, absolutely pick up everything you can. But like, I don't need. You know, I just pulled 164 in a few seconds. I'd rather get to another spot where I can get another 164 than stop and pick up that one or two. It will translate into a faster time to get done by zipping around like this. But like I said, if I'm already outside, why not? So this is the, I guess, the right side route is what I would call it. No. And we just come around these rocks. Usually go up here. There's something. Looks like it's metal today. Same thing over there. All right. Bunch of copper too. This keeps us pretty close to our base. We're only about 2K away. And this is about the farthest area that we go. You can head up there if you want. I don't like to. It's going to be a nubbin down here. I can kind of tell you right now that 5 wind traps ain't gonna get it done. We can really harvest the heck out of this stuff. If we wanted to be super efficient, we would just go to this right side, and then once it's full, we'll take it back, drop it in the boxes, make production on anything we can. And then we'd head back out and do the other side. Once we collect the other side, we'll bring it back to the base. We'll park this bad boy, jump into an ornithopter, and we'll go off and do, you know, a forgotten cave, or we'll do a testing station, or both. And then by the time we get back from there, these nodes will probably have started to respawn. But our water resources definitely won't. I don't know how many wind traps I'd have to have in order to balance this out. If it can even be done. I don't know. We definitely could get a little... Yeah. We definitely could get a little crazy with the production. On my video that I did about harvesting spice solo, somebody made a comment that they said that my base was too big, and they would prefer just to run back and forth to Haga. Plus, it was much safer. And it made me think. Okay, they're not wrong. Well, I mean, first off, their opinion, so of course they're not wrong. But We could go after that one if we're going to go after this one. But it's kind of a progression of things. When I first started coming out to the deep desert, I would not build a base. I was terrified to come out here. And it was like cool and scary at the same time. And I would come out, grab a tiny little amount of resources, just like fill up my scout thopter with some, and then I'd hightail it out of here and go back to Haga and be like, oh man, that was so cool. And I would see all the bases from Yeehaw, from the bigger groups and other people. And I couldn't envision that being me. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, no, there ain't no way I'm going to build a base out there. I could, at that point, I was barely had a base back in Haga. I came out here in order to get the equipment, the resources, the things like that, in order to build some of these bigger machines to produce stuff faster and better. So the deep desert is why I have a large spice refinery in the first place. And the first bases I did build out here, I only had a medium, But it got me to thinking about, we're going to yeehaw this one too. Don't ever do what I just did. I do it all the time. You'll see me do it all the time. Every time I do that, I'm risking my buggy, because coming off of hills like that, if you land it wrong, you're going to glitch through the map. Then it's going to be down on the ground, and you're going to lose everything that's in the pack, and it's not worth it. That's my advice to you. If you're going to do what you want to do, as you can see, I learned that lesson. I had a buggy that glitched through the map, fell between a set of rocks, and then all of a sudden I'm skydiving, and I lost it. And Funcom was nice enough to replace the buggy, because I said, hey, I fell through the map. And I actually was streaming at the time, so it's on one of my streams. But I sent them that as a reference point. And within 24 hours, they had replaced the buggy. But they also said, we can't replace what's inside it, sorry. And also, they can't replace super special items. Like, for instance, I have the improved cutter array, or the focus cutter array, and the bigger boot. They'll just give you a basic one. Every time I jump off of these cliffs, it's because I'm too lazy to drive back around. And I'm risking my buggy, and that would be horrible. So my advice to you, don't be like me. Be smarter than me. Just wanted to say that since it was apparent. But back to the discussion at hand. My first initial bases were very small and very focused. There is nothing wrong with flying back and forth to Haga. Especially now these days, where you can bring the carrier, park it somewhere if you don't mind it taking some damage from a potential storm, and run the buggy around here like I'm doing right now. Back when I was first doing this, you had to go out into the desert and go to the islands and stuff if you wanted to get this, so there was some danger involved. But I did those small little trips, which led me to being able to build a base out here so that I could do it without having to back and forth ferry it. I've always said that not such thing as a base too big. Yeah. The first ones I made were just for Plastanium, and I would have like a medium spice refinery, and I would catch a little bit of spice here and there. I didn't have a carrier or a crawler, so it was all hand compacting. But doing that, basically the back and forth ferrying trips, is what led to me being able to make a small little base. And then that small little base is what ended up making a bigger base, and then a bigger base, and a bigger one, and then now the one I have currently. I can make anything I want in that base. I have enough. I mean, I can't make weapons and clothing and stuff, but as far as processing materials, spice, plastanium, the only thing I'm missing is like a ferrite for cobalt paste and jasmium, but I can make everything else in that base, because one thing leads to another. So for somebody to say that no, they're not building a base out here, they're content ferrying it. It's all that means is that's where they're at in their journey. We could all namaste and everything, but that's where they're at. They're at the point where it's still feasible for them and better because safety and supplies warrant that. So if that's where you're at, keep on keeping on, you know? Good. What we do. It's why we do this. And you know what? Next time you come out, you want to still ferry it back and forth, go ahead. Who cares? Do what you're doing. And eventually you'll get to the point where you're like, you know what? I probably can make a little bit bigger of a base, and I can put an ore refinery here, and I could start making the Plastanium out here instead of bringing the materials back each time, because it is a little harder core. We'll actually get the math on that. I don't know what it is specifically, but once we're done here, we'll get the math on it. We're going to start heading back towards our base. We should be getting pretty full. Told you. And I didn't even look. Come on. Man. So when this happens, what I'll usually do is I will not do that. We'll come over here and we'll open the inventory. Now, I've got 8, and I've still got a little bit of room. We're going to go ahead and pull this over. Now we went to 52. We've got a little bit of space here. Apparently, we weren't smart enough to get those fibers out of the inventory before we left, so that's on us. We're an idiot. But I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to hit this just to fill up the thing. There it is. Doesn't take much. Got another 44. And now we're going to head back, because we already were kind of heading back. In fact, we're just right up over the hill. But, here we go. Now, unfortunately, I can't pick up any more plant fibers, because we are totally full. But that took, what, 20 minutes? We're totally full. Should be a cave entrance over there. Yep, right there. It could be none, there could be one, there could be 2 people in there. So if we're ever short on bodies, that's one place we go. It's right here in front of the base. Easy to get that. Like I already stuck 2 in right now. I could just go replace the 2 I got. Yep. So we're going to park, and we're going to come over here. First thing we're going to do is unload the silly little things that we forgot. Boop. Ah, that was 200 volume that we... You know what? If you make a mistake, you should pay for it. And we made a tad bit of a mistake, so we paid for it. I usually stick the aluminum and the strontium together because titanium's really heavy. Drop you in, and then we'll drop this in, and then we're going to talk about something. See, look at that. Issues. Holy Christ. Content pending autopsy. Hey, glad you finally caught me live. It's right up your alley. Good to hear. Don't get too excited, you know? I'll get excited, don't get me wrong, but try to keep it low key. We do this for funsies. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to, I'm sorry, let's do this. We're going to run over here. And we're going to look at a strontium fiber, right? So to make a strontium fiber, you need 3 strontium masses, right? And to make a plastanium ingot, there we go. You need 1 strontium fiber, so 3 masses, and 4 titanium ores. So let's come over here. And we're going to hit this, and I'm going to actually spin this down to 3, okay? So here's the 3 that we needed in order to make... I'm an idiot. This is the one that we need. There we go. Okay, so there's the 3 strontium mass that we needed in order to make 1 strontium fiber. And then we need 4 of these guys. Boop. Boop. Okay. So there we are. So let's look at volume and weight wise. All right. So that's 3.6 for 4 of those. And this is 1.5. So basically, let's just not get stupid. 5 volume for 1 plastanium ingot, right? If we go to this box, we can go here and let's go open up our... Oh, well, you know what? We'll pull it right... We'll pull it right from the machine. Storage. We're going to split that up into 1. Try to get us off to the side. As you can see here, it takes 5 volume worth of raw materials to make 1 volume of finished product. That's the main reason to have a base out in the deep desert. Because you take a scout thopter, you're only going to bring, what, 500? 3,000 for an assault right now. You could bring 3,000 worth of plastanium ingots or 600 worth of materials. So transporting a finished product is way better. Look at how much that we got. Sorry. Is way better than doing those raw material runs. In the event that you know, if you're not at the point where you can make these machines, like you might have one back in Haga, but you don't have the materials to make another one out here in the deep desert. I will point out, keep in mind that it's half the cost. So whatever it costs to make it, you only need half of the materials. But you're also going to need to be able to pump water out, and this takes a lot of water. So it is an investment in order to get the machinery to make this happen. You get to a certain point when you're playing this game where you don't have as much materials and resources, but you do have time because you're playing, you know. Eventually you'll get a point where you're going to balance that you don't have to spend so much time to get that same amount of materials. And then you'll get yourself to a point where it doesn't take much time at all to get way more materials. They just kind of switch places. If you're worried or concerned about building a base out in the deep desert, I put mine here in the shield wall all the time. Any one of these areas right here is inaccessible by worms. And as long as you don't build, let's see, where is it? It's over here, right? Yep. As long as you don't build on the wreck of a ship, it's PvP. It's PvE. No one can come at you. No one can attack you. No one can steal your stuff. The only thing that could happen is if you don't have the right power requirements and you don't let your base shut down. But I can understand where the guy was. Sorry, I don't know the name, but I can understand where he's at, and that's fine. But eventually, I think you're going to get to a point where you're going to say, you know what, I'm spending a lot of time ferrying small amounts of materials back. Why don't I just go ahead and drop a base down? And you don't have to come out here and, you know, build a ridiculous looking base like this with, you know, carrier hangars and all sorts of crazy stuff. Just build one that has this machine here and that machine here and can make some water and make some plastanium ingots. That's all you got to do. This base is the end result of all the times I've been out here doing exactly that. It's the combination of those initial days of doing the single runs back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. to get to the point where I could actually make something that kind of functions out here. And then that ended up going into where we are today. There is one other thing that I want to point out. I initially had a medium spice refinery, and then I joined the guild I'm in, and they had two large spice refineries in the base. So originally what I would do was I had just a little box, one of these, just a box, and it was just mine, and it was on its own circuit. And I would go out and collect with a compactor and bring it back and stick it in that box and go and do. And then I was able finally to make batches in that large spice refinery. The first two, maybe three batches I made came out of a spice refinery that wasn't mine. It was the guild's, and that was huge. That was huge for me. And in fact, that is what let me build my first large refinery back home in Haga. So another advantage of joining a guild is, it does help you progress a little bit beyond your means, at least your current means. Helps get you that next step. It's just a little bit of a boost. As you know, good for storage, repairs, and fueling up. Exactly. So, go do your thing and then keep doing it, I'm sorry, it kind of makes sense, but yeah, just built my first D&D base, or D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, got a ranger and a wizard. Built my first base, no refineries, but it's good for storage, repairs, and fueling up. Exactly. Get your foot in the door. And as long as you keep walking, eventually you're going to find yourself going somewhere. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not a proponent of just giving people stuff like, oh, hey, you're a new player. Here's a compact compactor and a Mark 6 cutter array, and here's Regis weapons and armor. Have fun. I feel like that kills a lot of the process for somebody. And I'm very hesitant to do that. What I don't mind doing is helping somebody. Like if somebody was like, hey, can you help me with this testing station? I would. I've actually done that before, and sometimes you might think I'm being a douchebag, but I'm not. Sometimes I'll hold back. I'm not going to go in there and just wholesale slaughter because I can. They're going to work for it too. We did it together. And that's a good thing. Speaking of which, we're going to go do something. For anybody who's new to the deep desert, sorry, I thought I saw something, or doesn't come out here very often, we're going to go to a place that I was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game before I found this out. But here's a good example of what I was talking about. When I was flying back from doing something, I saw that I had a neighbor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a neighbor. And I was just, flying around, taking a look, and they got some fuel generators, right? Just base level generators. They've got a couple boxes, smaller ones, and they've got I'm not trying to criticize, but I think you really don't need the blood machine. I think that's what that is. Got a recycler, they got a ore refinery, and I believe it's a small spice. So you know what? This is a great little starter base. They're not making water, so that's probably why they have the blood purifier thing. Maybe they don't have the access to, but this is a great start. So, rock on, dude. Someday you'll have a base like that one over there. But yeah, what are we doing? Oh, I know what we're doing. We're going to go this way. Basically head north. And we're going to go way up in the air, and then we're going to drop really fast. And we're going out to the hidden cave. Exciting, I know. Alright, so right here is the cave we're looking for. You can always tell by the little torch sitting outside. They got like a little tiki torch out there or something. I'm not even going to store this thopter because we ain't going to be here for long. But we're going to go ahead and put our ultimate shield on just in case. And then we run up here. Come down to this. You're going to need a melee weapon, a sword, a knife of some kind. So you can cut that because that's why it has the little knife symbol. And we're going to slice it. It leads to a scary passageway. It's not really that scary. We're going to run down here. We're going to go to the left. Then we're going to go to the right. Then we're going to jump up in the air. Because these things were poorly designed. There's our left. Here's our right. There's bad guys. Oh my gosh, it's so scary. Let's just pick up all that cool stuff. And we'll pick up some of that cool stuff. I don't really need the scrap metal. There we go. Down there are some chests. I don't think we could see one without taking some fire. But there are some chests down here. They have a lot of these things in them. There's a bunch of this stuff in them. And that's about it. There's occasionally one of these items. Nothing real fancy, nothing like the Plastanium dust or the schematics that you can get. But I don't know what this says.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
That sucks. And then you can just run out. He threw a grenade at me. But now we got a storm coming in. That thing is moving fast, too. We're not going to make it back to the base. So I'm going to have to go ahead and we are going to store this vehicle just because we don't want her taking damage. And we got to hang out here, but that's okay because it gives us time to talk about it. Yeah, it's like super easy to do this. If you want to kill them, you can draw them out into this area. I would advise armor, shield, be very careful. They're just as tough as anybody else that's in the deep desert, so you can't really just one-shot these guys. I played solo since Didn't do my first DD base until mid-December. It's a game changer. Now it's a great time. The DD is more PvE friendly, yes. Before they created a PvE section and had all the cool stuff on the shield wall, you would have to go out and find nodes. That was a little more dangerous back in the day. But, yeah, Plastanium, that used to be a heavy grade stopping point. Hi! Okay, this is actually kind of bad. I don't really want to fight two of these dudes. They're slowing me. So, see, they almost dropped my shield. Now they're going to throw grenades and stuff at me. Oh, there you go. So you can stand here and wait for this guy to reload, pop a couple poisons onto him. We didn't take too much damage. We're sheltered here, so the storm's not going to mess with us. Look at this guy. Surprised somebody hasn't died yet. I'm a little upset about that. You can sometimes position yourself pretty decently on the wall or the stairs here. And oh no, we're slowing down because of the storm. But they will shoot the steps instead of you. Thank you. Oh, missed. I can usually take... Oh, that guy. That's quick. It's been the original one I was shooting. Alright, now we're going to stabs. The good thing about the melee stabs is that it... they shut my base down. It keeps them from shooting you. So, yeah, we're using up stamina, but... I'm going to grab everything. I don't really want everything, but... my backpack is full. I could not pick up the corpse. That is horrible. Oh, what am I doing? I got it in my pocket. I am lost. I don't know where anything is. Where am I? Oh, there's the steps. Okay. That's freaking me out. Can I bring the Thopter in here? Nope, we can do it now. Okay. Try to find a nice little spot to plant this bad boy. Come on. You can do it. Nice. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have to drop... We're going to have to drop some stuff. Oh, I still have a bunch of that. That's why. 44 volume, obviously. Yeah, I can pick up a body now. So we're going to add these guys to the desk still. I brought this up one time in stream, but it's worth reiterating. I got these two people that died relatively close together. If I can't pick them up, like if they're going to despawn before I can, pick up the body and then come down here and just pick up the second one. It's going to tell you your backpack's full, but it turns them into the little mummy wrapped guy, and that resets their despawn. So now I have no worries. I can real easily just get back in here and pick little homie up. And he's going to be fine. So it just kind of resets the timer on them. Let's go in, since we cleared those bad guys. Let's go in and we'll show you where those boxes are and what's in them. So you don't have to fight your way through that. You know, we took a little bit of damage. It didn't get too scary. We kind of ran. Here's one of them. So, yeah, you see it's got that, and I don't need the salvage met. Oh, I got the hiccups now. If we come up here, there's the other one. And this one's got the same two things, but it also has some of those Holtzman actuators. Still not going to take the metal. And there's copper in here, so whatever. But there you go. This is real easy to do. If you don't want to fight them and you don't want those other two boxes on the ground, you can literally, like I did, just run in here, come up here to this little thing, and then you go in and you get those items. It put the screen back on, but I can't access these until the timer goes. I don't know how long that timer is. So, but there we have it. One little quick run. We got 3 bodies. 3 bodies in there, plus all that extra junk. Plastanium dust is great to have. I don't know if I'll use the Rattler booster module, but I got one. Maybe I could sell it. Some of these items, you know, might come in handy. Gun parts, whatever. Plasteel gun parts, those are good for making other. Is it 45 minutes? See, I've heard that, and then I had a strange thing happen to me. I don't talk about it that much because, you know, this happened to me. It's not true. I went into a testing station, in fact, the one that we're going to go to here in just a second, and I looted the box. And I stepped over and brought up my menu, because I'll just grab everything from people when I'm killing them. Like, I don't even have any guns that use light darts. So this, you know, honestly, I need to drop. There's no reason in carrying it around. It's only 0.1 volume, but it is a slot. So I was standing there and I dropped them. And when I got them out, I turned around and the Constellation chest had respawned. I walked over and was able to loot it a second time. I was like, holy crap, are you kidding me? So I stayed there. And then it didn't cycle like within the first like 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, so it was just silliness. So I don't, yeah, server minutes. So theoretically, can you use the same chest? That's exactly what happened to me. if you find out when that timer is, you could be a naughty boy and just sit there and wait for it. But I don't know if, I don't know if it's my short attention span or what, but I can't just stand there for 45 minutes. I guess I could go do something else, like in real life, go do something else. So it really depends on that 45-minute cycle where you are looting. That thing could actually respawn right now. Or it might take the full 45 minutes, who knows. Oh, you can go everywhere with a land vehicle, Jakey. I mean, I know you pointed out safely. You can still go anywhere. I love how my base is gone, and then there it is. So, we're going to land. We're going to drop this off. And then we're going to go clear the testing station that's over in this section. It's called Mannequin Manor. Because there's a bunch of target dummies in it. And I think Target Dummy Manor sounds way stupid. So I get why they did that. But Mannequin Manor is kind of a horror show. I mean, creeps me out. So this is the box that I had. There were some schematics that I took away. This is the box for the light runs like this. I've done several. Come on, man. There we go. It's alright. This is awesome. Could always use this. These are cool. If I don't need it, I could sell it. This stuff I should probably be leaving on the ground because seriously, I've done this a whole bunch. I got a bunch of things. But these are some good materials. Materials you can only get out in the deep desert. Like the Plasteel composite armor plating. Now you can make it in your advanced survival fabricator, but you'll need the Plasteel plates and then some armor plates in order to make the two together. The same thing with like these, the gun parts. If you have regular gun parts and Plasteel plates, you can make these. Or you could just come out in the deep desert and get them. Either way. Oh, let's see. How are we on water? We got 300,000. Let's go ahead and turn all of these into fiber. And we're going to come over here. And we're going to push this another 218. I'll take it. And now we're out of water. Let's see if our friends turned into water yet. They might have. Seems like... No, they haven't yet. Oh, we got 3 minutes. We could wait. Alright, so we're going to wait 3 minutes for those guys to turn into water. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and go to our scout ornithopter and put our new friends in the box. Oh, I'll tell you what, because I keep seeming to forget to do it. Let's take our plant fiber and we will stick it in the container. Boop. I usually try to like organize my stuff. As you can see here, like, you know, that I'm not doing that anymore. Not today. We're having a rough week. Gonna be a long 3 minutes. So I'm usually a very calm, very controlled individual, as you can see. But too much of a hassle tracking it down. Yeah, it's from the server restart. I mean, if you get in there, if you're willing to wait to see when it actually cycles, and then just time it from there. I know they used to have a real big issue with people who would exit out of the game in the testing stations and in the reward room, and then when the server reset time happened, they would log back in and just loot the chest and then log back out and just keep doing that over and over and over again, which is kind of poopy, but you know, whatever you want to do. But what I was talking about a second ago is being a very calm, very, you know, let things go. Little things get to me. I How long are we in? We're coming to an hour, so they're not watching anymore. YouTube watches for bad language. Dude, I lost my shit today driving. Oh my gosh, people in my area are very questionable about driving. That I can't stress this enough that the yellow lines between the lanes is the mark. You're not supposed to cross that. Now, I'm driving a plow truck, big mason dump, big plow, B plow on the front. I'm thousands and thousands of pounds. I got salt in the back spreader. We're loaded for bear, and I'm coming up around this corner, and this guy in a big Ford pickup truck with a trailer with a small, like one of them little tiny minivans on the back of it, comes flying around the corner, and he was 2 feet over the line. The other side of my road was a lake, and I went off the road, and I'm like, oh my god. And that for like next like 3 miles, I was like, it was just profanity nonstop. Then I was okay. And now I'm here doing this. While we're waiting for these guys to disappear, this is actually pretty cool if you watch them. Because they'll just like, boop. We should be getting close. Boop. And now in just a few seconds, this guy's going to boop as well. There we go. That will stick more in. We should use the old ones. Always rotate your shelf stock. Otherwise, they're going to be really gross and stinky. It's not water we're going to want to, not water we're going to drink. They all came from the same batch. Doesn't matter. I've had bodies in boxes for like a month. I don't know what we're wrapping them in, but it's pretty awesome. Keeps them very well. Okay, so we went on a materials run. We went on a cave run. So now we're going to head out here. We've got quite a bit of flying to do because the testing station for us, the testing station this cycle are right on the edge. If you find one, like if you go straight to it and then you like head back away, you can check your map because it'll take away the fog on areas that you've been. So I've been up in this area and then I kind of went over in here. So this is probably where that testing station's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be maybe right in here. Maybe right in here. Let's go ahead and we'll just set it in the middle. And now, come on, that is awesome. Come on. But now we're just going to go to that mark and then we'll peek around and see where it is. I remember this one's on the opposite side as I'm used to. Usually, as like this guy here, if this rocks was where it was, the testing station was on the left. This one is on the right, so it's a little strange. But, I mean, it's okay. Use some water. So I'm not going to claim any kind of foresight or being super awesome or anything, but I did put a post up on the channel earlier that they had a hotfix coming out for the base movement because it wasn't allowing the grids to snap and you couldn't put your base in certain spots, and that's why you wait. That is why you always wait. That's not a knock on the devs. I always think, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older, but all of this is amazing to me. The fact that, I can be flying around here while I'm streaming to you guys and somebody else is playing and I could play with them and they might be from California or an entirely different country. And the fact that it's all working is just amazing to me. Some people are very demanding of these games, and if there's anything wrong, it's a horror show. In fact, the post that I saw about the little glitch thing. Individual was claiming that it was scummy of the devs to do this because you can't build where you exactly were. And then one of the devs actually responded to the Reddit post, was like, "Hey, yo, there's a hotfix coming out. This wasn't intentional, so we're sorry about that." But I think it's amazing that the stuff works as well as it does, and I'm not really all that demanding. So when there's something that's not working properly, I don't flip out. I don't get crazy. I'm not sounding alarms, and I'm not going to out of range. Why is it green then? But that doesn't mean that I want to participate in the playtesting, I'll just sit back and wait for a little while, see what happens. And if everybody else is having a great time and a great experience and no issues, well, then I'll jump in. Then I'll jump in the pool. But yeah, I let somebody else jump in, see if it's too hot or cold. And I know there's at least that one hotfix that has to be done. I saw that there were quite a few people who were having issues placing their base in exactly the same spot. My first thought on that, I'm not trying to be mean, but are you sure it's the right spot? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because there might be a little bit of variance from where you thought it was to where you actually are, etc. But here, look at this. Let's place it. Did you ever see Silence of the Lambs? Ugh. Anywho, but yeah, that was my first thought, was like, are you sure you're actually in the exact right spot? But it seemed to be an issue that everyone was having. That was, well, not everyone, but enough people were having that it definitely was something to be worried about. So the fun starts once we actually kind of go into this room. It should have actually started when we came down here, but I'm not seeing anybody. It's possible that someone else has already cleared this. Oh, Jiggy did. Hey, Jiggy, did you clear this? Scared you. I'm sorry. Is everybody dead? Oh, everybody's dead. Okay, so when somebody clears it ahead of you, it makes this even way easier. But this one's not hard, comparatively. Oh, armor plating. I'll take that. Because everybody's dead. So until the people respawn, I can just run through here like nothing's going on. You got to be careful though, because if you get here a little too late, you'll be like right in this spot, and you'll come running out and be like, haha, I'm so cool, everything's great, and then all of a sudden there's 5 bad guys that spawn instantaneously, and now you're in the midst of a fight with no preparation. But this is even easier than having to do it by ourselves. But this one's not bad. I'll go over it when we get out. We'll pick up everything. Let's see what this actually is. Mark 5 cutter array. It's not bad. We'll grab the plating. We'll grab that. I don't need mercenary stuff, but I don't need these. I'm going to grab this, but I'm probably going to break it. Just grab the chest. Cool. Yep, so we got time. Take some heavy darts. So in that first room, there's usually 3 guys in this first room. They are just the standard gunners. There might be a melee dude in here and 2 gunners, but usually it's 3 gunners. When you cross over into this one, it's a little more hectic. There's going to be 4 people here, and one of them could be one of the chain gun guys. And they like to shoot at you, and it's a pretty wide open area. If you try to fight them on these ledges, you can use the pillars to kind of maneuver, but if things go south, you can just jump down here, and it's hard for them to get shots on you from down here. So this is a great place to heal up if you need to. Throw on some bandages. Let your shield come back. Body parts laying around here and all that stuff. But this one's real easy to do, and it's so much better than those lock-in ones that are just wave after wave. I say that meaning doing those by yourself. Doing those solos a bit rough. I already opened this. No. We want that and we want that. Otherwise, we're good. Let's see. That's fine. What kind of bandage is in this? What is that? 2? Ooh, a Mark 6. Holy cow. Oop. Nope. What do I have there? Okay. Hey, there they are. Remember what I was saying about how, like, bad guys will suddenly respawn? You think that you're cool because you came in here, but they can come in here too. So, you got to be careful. We'll go ahead and just grab everything. See what I mean? Since we're under fire. I usually do the heavy stabs with these guys. I mean, you can do these. Whether it's easy or hard, I don't know. Oh my goodness. Ha! What do you think of that, huh? How do you like being stuck in a corner? You guys do that to me all the time. I might beat that guy's ass into the wall. Sure. The guys do. The chests don't. The guys will respawn very quickly. But the chest will show up. Or the chest doesn't. Alright, so we're in pretty good shape. Let's see what's in here. And we got UA's Reaper gloves. Not sure if I have those. One issue that we're seeing is we're actually pretty full. This is going to be new. So there's 33. I think we have these already, so that's good. We have these already as well. That's 34, and then that's 35. So we're actually full unless we go out and put stuff in. I've got tons of these from all the crap I've done out here, so leaving them behind I'm not too sad about. So I can draw blood from him, but I can't take his stuff. It's interesting. But there you go. Yep. I can't pick up a body because I don't have any space. It's alright, though. It's a long trek to get back up to the Thopter from here. So, but yep. This one, if you're a solo player, this is actually a godsend of a testing station because you can do it by yourself with relative ease. As you see, Jiggy was just here. He got through it, and then I came in and was able to run through everything, and then those bad guys spawn at the end, but they're easy to handle, and you can outmaneuver them. So, these are, for solo people, great cave placement, great testing station as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come out here, and we're going to take this, and we're going to drop our Thopter. And we're going to head back to base. And we are going to make a big circle. Because it's awesome when we fly. And we are going to head back to base, drop this stuff off. And then we're going to see what we're doing. It is kind of sad. Like I said, I don't have the urge to get spice. Somebody hit this field a little bit. Somebody had a carrier, I believe. You're probably not going to get a good solid line like that, but that's cool. Over here is something that we're going to look at. So this is a flower sand field. It's just exactly the same setup as the ones that are in Haga. And so why would I come out to the deep desert in order to get flower sand? There's less worm aggro out here, which means I could get more per landing. And it's, oh, you hit the field? There you go, buddy. Um, but is this a, Jiggy, is this the first week that you've used your carrier out here? Did you bring it out last one? While we're waiting to find out, uh, you can get a lot more for each sitting. It's a second week now, nice. Um, than you can in Haga. Um, it's going to be much less aggro, so you can drop down, and plus, people are going to leave you alone out here. Um, whether it's worth it or not, I don't know, because it's going to be some transporting. Because these things, you get, you know, thousands of flower sand. You get like 15,000 flower sand from one of these. But I'm wondering if it's worth it just for the reduced aggro. But we'll have to see. One thing about this, though, let me get some air because I don't want a worm to come along and just suddenly snatch us out of the air. If I'm going to do a flower sand field, that's why I carry this. I use the compact compactor, which doesn't get as much worm, bigger grouping and all that stuff. It's great, but I prefer to wait and use these for spice, which is more important, grabbing bigger amounts. Flower sand, you're usually left to yourself to do it. So I usually carry an omnistatic if there's the potential that I'm going to go after flower sand, and I'll use that. Yeah, it has high versus the medium worm interaction, but it's not hard to deal with them, especially when you're out in the open like this with the deep desert. So I'm not sure. Flower sand is quite light, and I do have a chemical factory, so I can transfer it or turn it into silicone blocks, which are extremely light. I just feel weird about the water. As you can see right now, we are not in the best of shape as far as water goes. I was out here yesterday, last night actually, and I believe I put two people in the death stills and then shut it off and went to bed. And then you saw me loading up when we started the stream. So in all that time, which was basically like, I don't know, 20 hours or something like that, we got up to 600,000 and it's already gone. And we have a backlog of materials. I don't know how many death stills and how many wind traps I would need to have in order for this to balance out to where I could just nonstop produce, but I think I definitely have to have a much bigger base. I brought enough materials to make 2 additional wind traps, and I only made 1 because I wanted to see what it does. But I'll kind of be honest, I'm still not totally impressed with the water output. Like I said, my weekend's probably going to suck. So I may not have the amount of time out here that I thought I was going to. So I may not focus on it too excuse me, too heavily. But we'll see. Just got some wind traps floating in the air over here. There we are. Hopefully I can catch this guy at some point. There was a thopter in there yesterday when I flew by, and it's not there today, which means he's either out there or he went back to Haga. So at some point, I have to see. Yeah, stress-free and a great source. If you're flying back and forth, absolutely not. I totally agree with you on that. Because it's just, you know, that's a lot to ferry back and forth. And there are plenty of things. That was cool. There's plenty of things worth more than flour sand that you could be getting out here. How much water does a silicone block take? It's only 50. It takes 3 flour sands. We get 1,000. I don't know, man. We might have to experiment a little bit. We're gonna bring that over. Let's come over here real quick, and let's get rid of all this stuff because we are super heavy. I'm hitting the button, but nothing's happening. Oh. Another good thing about a base is like this Rattler booster. I'm going to bring it back into my inventory, right? And then I can come here and I can research it in here. So now I don't have to transport it back. I don't have to do anything super awesome or special. It's in there, and that frees up. Because schematics weigh nothing, but they do take up a slot, and sometimes you're limited. So another good reason to have a base. I thought for a second, why am I coming over here? There's no reason, but there was. We're cruising right along here. Look at this. We could do another 82. Why not? And that killed our water. So now we got to wait until these two dingleberries become water. We're still doing semi-okay here. I brought this out in the carrier, and then I did bring a couple more in the a Scout Thopter run. So we're actually using a lot more than I thought. You'll notice that I've got an empty little square here. That is specifically designed that if I decide I need to, I can put 2 more death stills. And we can start really producing water from bad guys. The issue with that is, again, it takes 50 minutes. But as you can see, we can fill up quite a bit of time doing other things or preparing. Like for instance, right now I could go out maybe 15 minutes, do a run around, fill up the buggy, come back. This will be almost done. But he's going to give me 40-something thousand for water. And with 4 of them, that's quite a bit. Then the issue becomes this box being able to supply it. In the non-deep desert off time, I've got 2 boxes in my home base full of bodies. Just people I kill, and I'll pick the body up and bring it along. So, you know, store it for a later use. So probably bring an assault, which will hold about, what, 20? Bring an assault load out here. Just keep pumping it out. Like I said, though, my weekend is possibly going to be shot. We're not sure. As it gets closer, we'll know a little more. We'll make that decision. This was a recent addition that I did to the base. Repair station. If you don't put one in, you should. It's just so much nicer that, like, when you're out here. Just earlier, I did the cave, and I got the message that my suspension belt was going to break. Normally, that would mean a trip back to Haga just to fix a belt or to grab a new one. But I put this in here because I never used to have a repair station. And then I was like, dude, I keep getting screwed over by this. Let me build one. And then I did, and away it went. So, yeah, that's an addition I was happy I made. Okay, well, we're at about 1 hour and 21 minutes. We did get a later start, but I've got an early morning as well. So what you just saw me do, imagine me doing that all over again, because that's what we're going to do. We'd hop back in the buggy, go out and get more supplies, keep making water, and play until we get tired of it. Do some more caves, do some more testing stations. The only other things to add in there would be flour sand, which I'm sure you all seen and know about. I'd much rather just give you a short little update and say, yeah, it's awesome. It's very successful. I would advise doing it, or say, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so we're going to call it a night here, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you watching. We're still increasing with subscribers, which is super great. Really appreciate that. I hope I live up to it. Small creator, doing my best. But I do appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you very much, Jiggy. And I'm just going to say Autopsy. We're not going to do that whole full name. But thank you for the comments. I appreciate it. And as always, guys, I will see you out there. Take care. Oh, before we run away, I'll let you know about Saturday. Right now, the storm's supposed to come in Saturday night into Sunday night, and then into Monday. It's supposed to be a big one. They're predicting the possibility of up to 18 to 24 inches of snow through the course of the weekend, which is going to be horrific. That's like apocalyptic levels of snow. But it tends to change as you get closer and closer. So hopefully it tones down. There's definitely going to be snow, and I'm definitely going to have to deal with it, which sucks, but it is what it is. But I will let you know. So we might be on Saturday, we might not. But if not, hopefully we'll see you Monday. I'll probably be dog tired and sad and all pathetic. But you guys are welcome, and I do appreciate it. So, but yeah, we're going to head off. So once again, I'll say it as always. I'll see you out there, and I'll let you know about Saturday. Take care.